Difficult to score runs this weekend, something that was not the case against the St. Brewers just a week ago. Despite their current woes, the Bucks are just 2.5 games out of the wild card as they turn to yet another young gun on the mound. It's the Pirates and Brewers on Root Sports.
It won't quite take a monumental finish for the Pirates to make the postseason, but they've got to return to their winning ways. They've lost 5 straight, but today a chance to take one from the Milwaukee Brewers here at PNC Park. Now look at our wild card standings now as the Pirates losing last night. So did the Cardinals, so the Pirates still 2.5 games back of St. Louis, but the Mets moving to within 1 game of that second and final wild card berth. And welcome into the booth on this Sunday afternoon. Joe Block and Bob Walk with you here today. A little throwback Sunday here for you this afternoon, and the Pirates a little bit of a throwback in a way with the good pitching that they've had, starting pitching the last couple of days, but it has been the offense that has slumped here in this series, and that's why the Pirates are 0-2 against these Brewers.
Yeah, if you look back at the start of the season, it really looked like the offense was going to be record-breaking in a number of categories. A fantastic start to the season, but since the All-Star break, things have started to go the other way. And again, in most categories, if you look all the way, runs, average, whatever you want to look at, all the way down to the running game, stealing bases, that's all gone downhill. And this last month of the season, in this race for the wild card, they need to refine their offense. They got to start scoring more runs.
And to support that starting pitching, and in support today of Stephen Brault, who's looking for his first major league win here in his 4th start, he'll be opposed by Chase Anderson of the Brewers.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to go a little longer. I mean, I think that's the key for him this afternoon. Get out there, a good 6-inning start. That's what I would look for from Brault. And hopefully, look at Anderson's numbers on the road this year. 6 ERA, 1-6 record, and 13 of those road starts. We need that trend to continue.
Well, the Pirates have had several kids on the mound so far this season. They'll have plenty more here in the ballpark today. A Kids Day Sunday. It's the Pirates and the Brewers here in the series finale coming up next here on Root Sports.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit bordaslaw.com. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
It's been a great weekend honoring some of the folks from the 71 team here. Of course, the Pirates wearing their 79 throwback uniforms today on this Sunday. Oh, those are pretty, aren't they? And a pretty afternoon here on the North Shore of Pittsburgh.
Back-to-back games wearing World Series unis. Last night they had the 71s on. Now the 79s.
Well, if the 16s are going to make it, they've got to get things going here. They've lost 5 straight, but a chance today against these Brewers. Come in 17 games under 500, a team that they won 4 against in Milwaukee.
Every day is a new day. You gotta keep that in your mind at all times as a baseball team, because you are playing a new game literally every single day. And as disappointing as these first 2 games have been here back home, it's nothing you can do about it. You have to get out here and get after them this afternoon. A gorgeous afternoon. Going to warm up into the 80s.
And getting to see Stephen Brault here at PNC Park for the first time. This is the first time he's had some comfort, I guess, between starts. He's always been called up for just 1 start. Now getting to stay in the rotation, at least for now. And of course, the tradition here on Kids Day on a Sunday, players take their positions on the field. The kids are already there meeting them, signing the autographs. Getting to stand near a big league mound, idol of.
Marte's going to have to play awfully deep to get to his kid. He's like, where are you at? You're on the warning track. Come in a little bit, a little shallower.
I mean, he just respects Keon Broxton's power. He's already ready.
Yeah.
A moment that they'll always remember.
Look at each one of them show some speed and run like the wind back to the dugout area.
All right, kid, go get him. I don't want to leave. It's a long run.
It's more like the breeze right there. Not quite like a...
Here's the lineup for the visiting Brewers. They're managed by Craig Counsell and Keon Broxton. Orlando Arcia moves up to that number 2 spot. Hernan Perez with Chris Carter last night. 4 hits, 3 RBIs, cleaning up Domingo Santana and right. Pena getting the start behind the plate with Jeanette Elmore and Chase Anderson.
Take a look at Brault's numbers, brought to you by Hyundai. Has had the 3 starts. Not a lot there. He's going to have to, I think, really be careful with those 3-4 guys that you were just talking about. They have rained terror down on us this season.
A little surprising Ryan Braun not in the lineup, though. He's always gets lefties.
But he seems to be one guy that really hasn't done a ton against us this year.
Here's the Honda defense for the Buccos today, with Sean Rodriguez playing short. Adam Frazier getting the nod next to him over there at third base. Jaso and Harrison on the right side. Marte McCutcheon Polanco on the outfield. And Chris Stewart back catching again. First time he has played here since, for the Pirates since July the 1st. David Freese getting a day off. He's been in a bit of a skid. 5 for his last 31. And Josh Bell getting a day off as well.
There's some fresh faces out on the field this afternoon.
Now with 30 men on the active roster, and that will be growing. Trying to get everybody a little playing time here and there. Keon Broxton, very speedy. He's already swiped a couple of bags in the series.
Change up.
Location.
Yeah, working downstairs. Hadn't thrown a strike yet, but has a 1-2 count.
That time changing the eye level a bit. 2-2. Now, Brault doesn't throw particularly hard. Then Hurdle really likes his makeup. What are we going to see from Steven Brault today?
We're going to see fastballs, sliders, and changeups. As you just said, he's not a hard thrower. He's got to work the ball around, try to keep the guys off balance, and work downstairs. Get some grounders. Put this defense to work. That's not good.
A little flare toward the gap. And Broxton with those long strides is going to try for 2, and he's in with a double.
The Brewers have run the bases very well as far as pushing things and being able to take the extra base.
And we got the middle of the plate.
Marte's been able to stop some guys on some balls directly down that left field line, but other than that, they've really been aggressive. Getting a second base. Perez last night getting the third.
Well, if there's a Craig Counsell way in his first full season managing the Brewers, that's probably it. Plucky player that won a couple of World Series. In his first full year as the manager of the Brewers. Orlando Arcia, who has continued to emerge here. Just his 30th major league game today. Coming around with the bat. There's 1 out.
2 out. Positioning. That's what that double play was all about. Off the bat, immediately you think that's a line drive into center field. But look, there's Jay playing right up the middle, using his quickness to turn that into 2 outs. I don't know if they might. That's going to be a tough one. It depends on what kind of view. That view makes you think. See what this shows us. I can't really see anything from that.
Broxton thought he was out. I think Brian Gorman, the second base umpire, the crew chief there. Too close to call, so the Brewers will let it go.
The Broxton did an excellent job. I'm talking about freezing on a line drive, hit behind you. He froze and then got back as quick as he could.
Sometimes you just can't do anything about it. There's Brian Gorman, the crew chief. Then Fagan calling the balls and strikes today. There he is. That helps out Steven Brault erasing that leadoff double.
Yeah, they're thinking they're in good shape to get the leadoff double and then the smoking line drive up the middle. And all they got to show for it is 2 outs, nobody on.
You go back to yesterday, Brewers have had a leadoff hit in the last 6 innings now. Hanging up there. And Steven Brault gets through the first unscathed, and the Pirates coming to bat. Swimmingly, and now they'll have a chance to bat. The RAV4 lineup with Josh Harrison atop the order, John Jaso to follow with Andrew McCutchen, Gregory Polanco, and Starling Marte in the middle. Sean Rodriguez gets the start at short, as does Adam Frazier at third. Chris Stewart back behind the plate. He catches Stephen Brault. That's a gorgeous afternoon.
Take a look at Chase Anderson's numbers overall. We talked about his bad road numbers. They're a little bit better in the overall scheme of things. Opponent batting average at 269. That's about it where you'd want it. That's middle of the road. Nothing wrong with that at all. Threw a lot of fastballs when he pitched against us last. About 3/4 of his pitches were fastballs. He's not overpowering. Throws his fastball in the low 90s, and then has a, depending on your opinion, he has either a cutter or a kind of a short slider. That ball looked to cut a little bit at 90.
Average major league fastball 92. And through for a base hit for Harrison.
The Pirates hopefully can take advantage of that good first inning defense they played and get out to a lead. They prevented some runs from scoring. He did with a nice grab, that line drive, and then a quick leap to the bag for the double play, and now starts things off with a hard hit ball for a single. You got to play in tight with J.A. because you don't know, when he might lay down a bunt. So that reduces your reaction time to balls like that, those hard hit grounders.
Here's John Jaso.
Yeah, back in the lineup. They got some fresh faces. We talked about that in the lineup. I'm hoping that kind of jump starts this offense this afternoon. Get some different guys in there, and length from Brault. And I know that there's a lot of bodies in the bullpen, but as far as the way you want it lined up for a last couple innings of a win might be different this afternoon. So I'd like to see at least 6 innings. 6 innings would be good. I think that's kind of the goal for Brault today.
Well, Rivers Casino tips to win. Yeah, and you think for Brault too, it's an audition. I mean, this is he might want to be in the rotation next year.
Oh, for a young guy, anytime. Anytime you get a shot where it's July, April, but whenever, you're always trying to impress. You're trying to help the team win, but there is a personal goal that you always have, to have a nice big league career. So that's in at least the back of your mind at all times.
So with a pinch hit RBI single last night. He has homered in 3 career at bats against Anderson. Pirates collectively, all the guys in the lineup today have hit 5 home runs against Anderson. Got the shift on with the 3 men on the right side.
Not a real big lead for J.A. They're going to go over there anyway. Call time, do a little work on the footing.
Manny Pena, not average so far in terms of caught stealing, but has not had a lot of big league time. Better than average down in the minors. Harrison now likes the track.
I think he's got his lead out there a little bit further now. Oh, how about that?
Returning the favor.
Well, that evens that up, huh?
Nothing either guy could have done about that. The ultimate irony is Harrison's the base runner.
Yeah, that's right. It is and right now, in that shot right now, he's thinking about that. He's like, wow, how did that work out?
So you guys got me back.
This is a double. That's another foot higher. It's down the line for extra bases. You're looking at least second, third, nobody out.
And now with the bases clear, the McCutchen lines out hard. Hard hit balls in this first inning, but not much to show for it for either club. And it's 0-0 through an inning. Now for our lows, home field advantage, and the Pirates with a couple of players enjoying the comforts of home, and Gregory Polanco hitting 69 points better here at PNC Park, and the 7th largest increase from road to home average in baseball. Jordy Mercer 74 points better, which is the 4th largest increase in the National League. So guys with a big disparity here. Of course, why wouldn't you do better at home?
Yeah, it's home cooking. You know, though, I will say this, that most of the places we go, I consider better hitters' ballparks than PNC Park.
That's a great point.
So it is a little bit unusual in that regard. But
and that's just batting average, though. I mean, you can look at the power numbers. Maybe they tell you a different story.
That could be.
Especially for righty batters, that big cavern out there in left center field, the notch.
Anything that gets caught deep in left field here is going to be a home run in a lot of other places.
Way out there.
If you're on the back half of the track making outs here, you're going to be at the front row or a second row home run just about everywhere else we play. Milwaukee for sure. I think 399. That's fair. From center field to right to the right field foul pole, pretty fair ballpark. About like everywhere else.
And Carter, who hit a home run last night, he didn't hit it to the notch. He hit it more down the line. 410 feet, deepest part.
He could have hit it to the notch.
That was,
he launched that one.
It would have gone out. A few guys with that kind of power, though, and Brault strikes him out.
They got him swing over the top of a slider.
Keeping the ball down.
See, that's a dangerous pitch if it's maybe 6 inches further to Brault's left.
This is Domingo Santana.
That's the thing with guys like Carter. You make your pitches where you want to, you're going to get those guys out. A lot of strikeouts. You mess up on one and put it where they want it, he's going to lose it for you.
Carter with 31 home runs and also leading the league in strikeouts, so all or nothing type guy. Santana has not yet emerged like the Brewers were thinking. Acquired in that deal, sent Carlos Gomez to Houston last year. Got a lot of power, though. And he hits one out of here to give the Brewers a 1-0 lead. Just his 5th home run of the year. That's what they think about him. They know that that power is special, and sending one out to dead center.
Well, guys that are dangerous hitters, and that's kind of how Santana is right now. He's in that kind of mode that if you make your pitches, you could get him out. But if you make a mistake, and look where that pitch was, middle. Power guys are going to hurt you.
Home run estimated at 408 feet.
Didn't make it all the way to the Pirate side of the bullpen.
There's Manny Pena, who came up with a pinch hit last night. Brewers on the board first. Polanco. That's the second out. Second home run allowed by Brault in his 15+ innings. Sundays are kids' days here. Oh wow, look at that. First game actually going to be able to see. Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, that is pretty special. Hopefully it's a win too.
Yeah, let's like to
make it even more memorable.
See some Pirate home runs today.
That's a cool thing. Scooter Gennett ahead in the count 2-0. Actually hitting a few points better against lefties than righties. That's why he's in the lineup, though down in the order.
When he first came up, he didn't play against lefties. Right?
No, we're not at all. Only in an emergency. He was hitting 124 against lefties in his career coming into this season. But saw the door open to be an everyday player, and you look at that, the numbers are about the same. And he gets a base hit off one. 2-out single for Gennett. Brault has given up a few hard hit balls here early on.
Left fielder, number 7, Jake Elmore.
And Chris Stewart, who caught 10 games down in Double-A Altoona, back with the Pirates for the first time. Can you believe he's gone more than 2 months? July 1st. Last time he appeared in Pirate uniform. Good to see him back today.
He was getting really beat up. It wasn't just one thing either. There was about a 10-day period where it seemed like every game something happened to him.
First one down and in to Jake Elmore.
Remember, one of the craziest things I saw was who was it that did the quick pitch, no windup, and hit him in the hitting him in his throwing arm.
It was Wilfredo Boscan.
Was that who it was?
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff going on with it.
You usually see a batter get hit by a pitch. You usually don't see a catcher get hit by a pitch.
He was black and blue all over the place in the newspaper. Oh, how's that joke go?
No.
How's that
It's
joke?
black and white and red.
Oh, red all over.
over.
Yeah, that's it. Like a newspaper.
Eric Fryer.
I knew there was something like that.
Good job backing up.
And I knew you could bail me out with that
It's
joke.
one of the few jokes I actually know.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work, these days.
No.
You got a good joke, Joe? Oh, yeah. It's black and white and red all over.
What's a newspaper?
That's all I got. Two and two now on the number 8 hitting Elmore. Pinch hit yesterday and stayed in the ballgame.
Look out back there, row number 1.
Brault, after a 12-pitch first inning, has thrown 21 here, and that's something that Clint Hurdle was talking about today. Trying to get him a little bit moving along in these innings.
Watch where the ball hits the screen. Look out!
Oh boy! Well, there's that. But that first time, maybe even the second time.
Third or fourth time you'll flinch.
Will pop out there to right. Polanco's got to come back in. And the inning ends. Pirates get a run on the Santana homer, 1-0. After the game for the latest edition of Inside Pirates Baseball. This week, Pirate fans taking up painting at the ballpark. Sean Rodriguez mics up for a musical pregame and much more coming up on Inside Pirates Baseball. It's presented by Allegheny Health Network today after postgame right here on Root Sports. On our UPMC scoreboard, Milwaukee owns a 1-0 lead on this postcard perfect Sunday afternoon.
What a wonderful time of year to be in Western Pennsylvania. Late summer, fall. Gorgeous weather.
Had the fire pit going the other night. Gets
really
a little cooler at night now.
It is cooling off a little bit.
Perfect. But nice warm days. 81 at game time today. So
been in the 50s in the mornings going out on the back porch. It makes that hot coffee taste real good.
There you go. May throw a sweatshirt on just for the morning?
No, no sweat. Not yet.
Okay, wow.
Not time yet. Can't go there yet.
I broke mine out already. I admit.
All right. Okay.
Just the sweatshirts, not the sweaters. They'll stay in there another month. Did he go? No. When Wolcott said so. 1-2 on Polanco. He's hit a couple of home runs against Anderson in his career. Well, 1-2. Checked it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tip, and Polanco down on strikes. So 1 away. First strikeout for Chase Anderson. Let's look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders and the National League leaders in infield hits. Jonathan Villar on the shelf today. Still banged up a little bit, but Starling Marte moving up the list, got his 26th infield hit last night. And a lot of those aren't bunts. I mean, those are, you know, ground balls. That just
very few of them are really bunts. He just gets a lot of slow ground balls. That left side's what it is for Marte. And he flies down the line.
47 steals for Marte. Warner's trying to keep him honest. Now with 2 strikes. Back up in regular depth. And Marte, of those 26 infield hits, 4 bunts.
Yeah, that is amazing that he gets that many infield hits without using the bunt more. Which kind of tells you what would his batting average be if he added, say, another just 2 or 3 bunt hits a month. And he's got to be able to do that.
But do you? Now I'm just playing devil's advocate. Do you want him bunting because he does have? I know he only has 9 home runs, but he's got power. He's got a lot of doubles as well.
Well,
34 doubles.
For me, that answer is all game situation. I mean, right now with 1 out, you know, before he had an 0-2 count on him, obviously. If he wanted to beat out a bunt, that's fine. I mean, he turns bunts into doubles.
Out to left. And Elmore retires it. Yeah, you get on at first. What, I mean, way more than most of the time, right? You would think he would be able to steal second base, unless it's against a really, really tough pitcher or catcher or both.
Yeah, somebody has to do something exceptional to get him out when he's trying to steal. Real quick pitcher, just a great throw right exactly on the bag, or maybe sometimes even both of those to keep him from stealing a bag.
He's retired now, and Sean Rodriguez in at shortstop today. Out to right center and deep. And off the wall. Rodriguez in at second here with 2 outs.
That's right.
That'll make him happy.
That's what you do when you get a 2-out double. Oh, nice job going the other way with that pitch. Look at this location. That's not a bad spot for that fastball at all. That just go off Santana's glove.
Yeah, good look on our Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl.
Yeah, he had leather on it.
Double for Rodriguez. Now a 2-out chance for Adam Frazier after his 14th double. Hitting .321. Good job off the bench for the rookie. Wasn't with the ball club for a brief time. Just to try to get extra men as the Pirates were shorthanded a little bit in the bullpen. They optioned him to Bristol, and he went down to Bristol, the rookie ball affiliate for the Pirates, for 1 day. Took batting practice, did not appear in the game, and then rejoined the ball club once their season ended. Procedural move. Ball and 2 strikes. So you're 8 years old. Yeah, wave. Yeah, you're on TV. Two-out chance for the Buccos here, down a run. Rodriguez with that 2-out double. Manny Pena wants to come out. And when the infielder comes out, you see Scooter Jeanette's coming in. Are they talking about positioning here? What? Or does he just want to listen in?
If they're going to change signs, that would be the only reason I would think in this scenario why Jeanette would want to come in, because he wants to know what pitch is going to the plate. So the man at second base, you use the series, first sign after a 2 or whatever code you're going to put in it. The middle infielders like to know what that is because they want to know if it's going to be something slow or a fastball. But other than that, that would have to be it. And you're not sure when you see the catcher run out there, you're not sure if that's what they're going to talk about or not. So you go in, and sometimes it is just a listen in.
Frazier runs well, and he draws Carter off the bag. Rodriguez to third. It's an error on Orlando Arcia.
As somebody else running down the line, probably still going to have time to make a tag. But with Frazier, you mentioned he runs well, so you don't have that luxury of making any kind of a mistake, like with this wide throw and still getting the out. Watch how close this is. Oh, he got him. Well, so much for what I was about to say. I was going to say, watch how close this is, and anybody else would have been out.
Yeah.
But it looked like Carter was out also.
So if the umpires see,
I can't believe they wouldn't see what we saw.
Yeah. Well,
turn this around.
If that's the case, then the inning will end.
Like that was a pretty good evidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Brewers are challenging the same call for first base.
Sometimes we've seen the evidence not in the same viewpoint. Let's zoom in on the foot.
This is pretty conclusive right here.
Watch this foot right there. Looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt.
And he's out. Brewers win the challenge. And the inning ends after the call overturned. So it stays 1-0 Milwaukee.
A 1-0 score here at PNC Park. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Chris Stewart returning for the first time since July 4th in a big league uniform, and earlier today he discussed his return to the big league club.
It's exciting. It's almost my second opening day. I was out for quite a while, waiting for this day to come. I knew I wanted to get back this year. I wanted to make sure I was healthy enough to come up and contribute to this team, and I was able to go down to rehab, and everything went well down there.
And don't be fooled, this was not an easy rehab for Chris Stewart. There really was some doubt as to what they would find in that knee should they undergo surgery. He elected to rehab it and work really hard to get his way back, which really says a lot, Joe and Bob, about Chris Stewart and what he's been able to do. And Neil Huntington just a couple moments ago called him, quote,
a high quality influence in our clubhouse, end quote, really with what this guy brings and work with the young pitchers and the like. So guys are really glad to have him back, even though, you know, he's the backup guy and you know his role, but he really worked hard to get back to play, what, a handful of games this last month. Says a lot about his professionalism.
Yeah, you're right, Robbie. And, you know, played 10 games with Altoona. I mean, he was down the you know, pretty much the full time he's allowed to be down there on that rehab assignment, and you know, took bus trips with the AA club. I mean, it wasn't just you know, drive in and out for a couple of days. I mean, he was a part of what hopefully is a playoff team down there in Altoona. They win today or tomorrow, they clinch. And Stewart teaching a lot of those young pitchers, and now one on the mound here today in Brault.
It's always interesting to go back and think about your minor league days, experience it again.
Yeah, played 10 games.
I don't know if, I mean, that's kind of a long stint, but
yeah, about 3 weeks.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to be down there that long.
But yeah, use the opportunity to
try the rehabs are very prevalent nowadays, I guess is the best word I can come up with. It
3-2 to the opposing pitcher.
A lot of guys get opportunities to do that, and I think it's good for them.
And caught every other day just to make sure that he could.
Well, it's good for the the health reasons, kind of get checked out, make sure everything's 100%. But it's kind of a, I don't know, just a refresher for your mind about, I don't know, maybe a little simpler version of baseball.
Strikes out Anderson. And look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Garrett Cole expected to start in Philadelphia in 8 days, so long as those side sessions go well on Tuesday and Friday. He pitched one yesterday, throwing 30 pitches, and will in his next one throw all of his different pitches. So as long as everything comes out all right, Garrett Cole will be back on a big league mound in 8 days, and that's good news. Pirates push to the postseason, trailing 2 clubs, the Mets and the Cardinals. Starting play today, 2.5 back of St. Louis. They'll need all hands on deck. And then also good news with Jung Ho Kang. He's scheduled today to play one more rehab game with Indianapolis, and should rejoin the team tomorrow for Labor Day action against the Cardinals. And if both men come back as they should, then the Pirates will be healthy and at full strength down the stretch.
They'll run out of seats in a dugout. 31.
It would be, yeah, and then Cole would make 32, and Clint Hurdle said there might be even a few more call-ups, and not many, but when the minor league seasons end. Generally speaking, I believe all the seasons end after tomorrow's games, unless there's postseason, which I don't think anyone's coming up from Bradenton, but Altoona may make it, but Indy will not. So maybe a couple of AAA guys or something. We'll see. Three and 2 to Broxton. He's gone full on both hitters, but he struck them both out here in the third.
Pretty good off-speed pitch. Broxton way out in front. Circle change. The bat was already through the zone before the ball got there.
Such a great look to see what changing speeds does.
That will show you.
I mean, a lot of times we're watching, hey, he threw it right down the middle. How'd you miss it? He didn't miss it by swinging over it. Didn't miss it by swinging underneath it. The timing.
Watch that super slow-mo then. That shows you.
The path of the bat was probably accurate, but the timing wasn't. So shows you how hard it is to hit, right? You got to get the timing right. You also have to size it up, center it up.
Sometimes in the dome stadiums that we play in, you also get one of those straight down shots right at home plate. And there's been times where you could, that really shows it good to a slow motion from one of those. You can really see, because you're looking straight down at it, the bat comes through, and now here comes the baseball across home plate. And that's what it's all about.
Disrupting hitters' timing.
And the other side of the coin, the ball's going over home plate, and that bat still has a ways to travel to get there, and it's late. And that's all about that timing we're talking about.
2-out walk worked by Arcia. Brault's pitch count again, as we've seen in all of his starts, is gets up there after a relatively quick 12-pitch first inning. Went full on the first 2 hitters and then walked Arcia. Now Hernan Perez finally doused him a little bit, though finally had his first hit of the series on that triple last night. 1 for 9 in this weekend set. Really hit the Pirates hard in some earlier meetings. And behind again, 2-0. He's only started a hitter off with a strike twice out of the first 12 batters he's seen. That's a lot lower percentage than you'd like. He said one of the things he wanted to work on for this start is keeping the ball down. He's done that somewhat today, but not in the strike zone enough. And wanting to stay more efficient, but that has not happened today either because of not throwing enough quality strikes.
That was a nice pitch he made right there. Out of 2-0 count, he put a changeup in a real good spot right on the outside corner at the knees. Got a good result, and then didn't like the baseball anymore. Go figure.
Seems he's thrown that changeup a good bit today. Frazier and Jaso collided with Perez at first base, and Arcia streaking to the plate is going to score. Perez will be thrown out. The run will count.
And they're going to call interference.
Yeah, and they should. And yeah, they're going to award. As the play was happening here, Arcia is allowed to move up under his own peril, and so that play continued. And Perez was shaken up after he ran into Jaso. He didn't move at first. He just stood up. And he was shook up a little bit. Jaso expressing his concern.
And we're going to have a conflab. A lot of discussion out there with the umpires.
Yeah, there should be an obstruction here by Jaso. Even though he's entitled to field the ball, at that point he was not. He stayed in the path of the runner, and I think that's what they're going to talk about here. Obstruction is a violation by the defense, interference a violation by the offense. And let's see what this ends up being here. But fielder is entitled to making the play. They may waive that off here, but Jaso kind of lingered there after trying to get the throw.
Not making a play though on a batted ball.
Right.
Which that doesn't apply in this case, right?
No, because he's fielding a throw.
Yeah, it's not a batted ball. Yeah. It's like running over a catcher at the plate.
And he's going to call out Craig Counsell, the home plate umpire Clint Fagan, along with the crew chief Brian Gorman. Talking things over with both managers.
Like if in the old days, if a catcher was in front of home plate, you could run him over before he got the ball. No harm, no foul, I guess.
They're going to try to sort this out.
Counsel seems to be the one not happy here. So apparently the call went against Counsel, against the Brewers.
I think they're awarding him first base and first base only. But with the throw going awry. Yeah, right. I don't think either of these things can be the case, because when you have a runner advancing on his own volition, then and he's thrown out, then he should be out. And obstruction was not called immediately.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't really, I'm really confused here, because there was no call.
It needs to be called immediately, because
if there was no
Arcia can advance on his own if he so chooses, and he can be put out, which he was not. But
if there's no call, like originally there was no call, then everybody just plays.
They're going to put Arcia back on base. Is that what Gorman was saying here? He's pointing to third base.
See, I think that is no call right there. I think that's the correct play, is no call. He's going for the throw. There's nothing to call there.
Is it because Jason put his...
I mean, we see collisions between runners and first basemen all the time, and there's never a call. Why is there a call on this one?
I want to see where Perez is in the running lane, too. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this. Obstruction should only be, this is not correct, what's happening right now. Craig Counsell has a legitimate beef here. Rule 601A, obstruction by a fielder attempting to field a ball should only be called in a very flagrant and violent cases, because the rules give him the right of way. And let's see here, including the obstructing a runner going to first base. Obstruction shall be called, and the base runner awarded first base.
I do not understand it. We see it happens all the time. First baseman and runners collide on that throw that takes them into the runner. See it several times during the course of a year. A lot of times first basemen are very vulnerable in that position. They'll get hurt by it. And I've never ever heard of an obstruction or an interference call or anything. It's just, you just keep playing. So I'm not sure what. And that's the original call. You can see in the replay, nobody called anything.
Here's what the umpires are citing, and they're correct in this interpretation of the rule. It's 706H, where the runner will be, and Counsell's been ejected by Brian Gorman, and the obstructed runner shall be awarded at least one base beyond the base he had last legally touched before the obstruction. And also all runners shall advance without liability to be put out to the bases they would have reached in the umpire's judgment if there had been no obstruction. If there had been no obstruction, Arcia scores. And that's what now Pat Murphy, is the bench coach, is trying to argue this now with Clint Fagan. Now this is a great look, because Arcia, as the obstruction is happening, if you want to award him another base, and we're making a case for the Brewers here actually, if you want to award him an extra base because of the obstruction, he goes from third to home.
There's no obstruction, there's no call. That's why this, to me, and I understand I am arguing in favor of the Brewers. I don't see where there's a call. I've never seen a call made, anything
retroactively. That's where the mistake was made.
I've never seen a call made immediately. In this ever. I've never seen a call made like this. This does not make sense.
Now they're supposed to signal with both hands overhead to show that there's obstruction, just like you would a foul ball.
Yeah, they had to make a call. They did not make the call. They didn't make a call until they saw the runner scored, and now they're going to make a call. I don't.
And here's where they're wrong. Here, it says in the rule book, runners are to be awarded such bases on wild throws as they would have been awarded had not obstruction occurred. And that means that Arcia should score on that. That's in the book right there. Under 601H1 comment of Rule 706A comment. So that's what Craig Counsell was citing. He's been ejected. Pat Murphy, the bench coach, is still arguing this. The run should count. There's no doubt. And they put Arcia back at third.
You would think that they would play the game under protest, wouldn't you?
Well, it's interesting if it ends up mattering. You know, I mean, let's watch Craig Counsell here. He says a bad word, and he says the magic words to get ejected. Now the umpires.
See, nobody has made any kind of call whatsoever. Right. Everybody's playing. Look at the umpires position themselves to make a call. Here's the call here. Here's Gorman, who's the crew chief, who throws somebody out on that, making a play. Then when the play is totally over, then they decided to call obstruction or whatever it was they called. That's why it didn't make any sense.
And then Perez is just stolen the base. Takes a run off the board, takes a manager out of the game. Pat Murphy will manage throughout. Goes down as a fielding error. I believe it goes down as a fielding error. I got to check that again.
Well, you have to. Perez got the first base with error.
Yeah, on the play by Frazier, Arcia just simply moves to third on the play. Carter out to left.
Well, big break for the Pirates.
Yeah,
take advantage of it.
That umpire decision takes a run off the board for the Brewers. We'll see if it matters as this goes on. It remains 1-0 Milwaukee. Look at our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and good news for the Dodgers as Clayton Kershaw expected to start on Friday against the Marlins. He's been out for more than 2 months. Albert Pujols with 2 more home runs last night, 9th most all time now, and Zach Britton with 40 saves. The Orioles now just 2 games back of Boston and Toronto in that rough and tumble American League East. Here are the umpires with some scrutiny here by the Brewers. Run off the board, and it remains 1-0 Milwaukee.
Now this is where you can really make that hurt if you can do something on offense now.
And Perez colliding with John Jaso, who was trying to brace himself.
Yeah, as soon as Jason missed the ball, and then he tries to brace himself for the collision so that he wouldn't get hurt.
And then he immediately peeled away to go retrieve the ball. So,
and like I said before, you see that all the time. Wide throws into the line. You'll either see the fielder a lot of times will bail out early to try and get away from the collision. In this case, there was nothing he could do. He was just trying to field the ball, and he was actually in fair territory.
And I'm glad you pointed that out amidst all the scramble. The runner is supposed to stay within the running lane. And so you can look at, if you wanted to get technical, was he interfering with Jaso's chance at fielding the ball? Now the ball could have been caught. You can get really technical if you'd like. Stewart strikes out. That's what that lane is up the first baseline to the right in foul ground. That's supposed to entitle the runner to a lane with which to run. So Jaso fielding that ball in fair territory, or trying to field it, was very much in the right in that instance. So another good point there. What irked Craig Counsell was the placement of Arcia. That's
basically kind of what the umpires did, was just call it a dead ball. Okay, dead ball. Everybody stops where they're at. Perez is at first. Arcia, you're third. Nobody's going to advance.
Yeah, but there is that provision that allows, if there is an errant throw, to move the runner up, or runners in this case. Now Perez should have been awarded second base, and Arcia, who ended up scoring as the play was not stopped, should have been awarded home. But
in my mind, there just should have not been a call. It should have.
I agree.
The way they reacted initially was the correct way. There shouldn't have been any kind of a call. Perez was out trying to go to second base. Innings over. That's what should have happened.
Brault's a good hitting pitcher, but out there. Quickly 2 gone here as Anderson at just 32 pitches. And no fees on full price tickets for all remaining home games for the Pirates. That's going on where you can save free shirt Fridays, fireworks nights, fan jam featuring Hunter Hayes, all the events coming up, but this special offer ends tomorrow at 8 p.m. So get your tickets at pirates.com/no fees. So save on these tickets. Come on out. Bring the family out here for the remaining regular season games as the Pirates push for the postseason.
You know, Joe, I've seen both guys get laid out in that same collision, and you have the trainers come out and look at them and stuff. Nobody is awarded any more bases or anything.
Right.
It's just I hope everybody's okay, and hope they're just shaken up.
1-1 on Harrison. I don't think I've ever seen an obstruction call after the fact either.
I just don't understand what that was all about. But it doesn't matter. We'll drop it and turn the page.
That helps out Pirates, to be sure.
Yeah. 1-0 instead of 2-0.
It's fun to talk about some of the finer details of the game that very seldom come up. You know, I mean, it's happened in a World Series. Where obstruction is
usually it's more frustrating than fun.
It depends on which side you're on. If you're the umpires, it's always frustrating because you're going to get one side's going to be mad no matter what. Down the line. And a fair ball. It'll go over the sidewall for a double. And that in the rule book.
Looked like the gate got open.
Yeah. Santana down there.
Slid right into that gate so hard it knocked it open.
Yeah, the rule book calls that a ground rule double. Bob Prince used to call it a book rule double because it's in the rule book. Where did that ball land?
I don't know. We're kind of holding things up right now. They're deciding whether they want to take a look at this.
Pat Murphy, the former Padres manager, is the bench coach and now acting manager of the Brewers.
Hard to get a look at it because it's down there. You can't see where the ball lands.
We can't see from our vantage point. Okay, where's the line? I mean, you can make an educated guess that that's a foul ball. But I don't know for sure if you can say visually that it definitely went foul. The Brewers are going to challenge this. But at least in that picture, you can make an educated guess that it's foul, but it's like saying that Franco Harris made the catch.
Well, I can't see where the ball hit. As simple as that for me. If you can show me where the ball's hitting the ground. Now, can you see where the ball hits the ground here? No, I can't see the ground there. Now, I don't know if maybe your TV at home is different. It's a little lower than ours, maybe. But I can't see the ball hit the ground. When the ball disappears, I can't see where it hits.
When you watch the replays of the Immaculate Reception, where's the ball? It's right at the bottom of the screen, right? You can't tell if Harris makes the catch on the ground or not. Does he have his fingers on the ball? Did he make it on the ground? You can't see here the bottom of the screen.
I don't know about that. I'd have to see the Immaculate Reception again. I thought you could see the ball in it.
You could see the ball, but
the whole ball. See here, the ball leaves the screen.
That's
what I'm saying. See the ball.
You can see the top half of the ball.
Right, but that's not what's hitting the ground. The top half of the ball is not hitting the ground. I can't see where the ball's hitting.
Call stands, and the Brewers are now out of challenges.
There's no way they could turn that over. You can't see the ball hit the ground.
Right. You need conclusive evidence to overturn the call. And it stands because the umpires don't have a good view either way. So if the call was a foul ball and the Pirates challenged that, it would have stood. Jaso lined out sharply his last time. This is like a trial. So much litigation going on.
That's fun, isn't it?
Rick Sofield in position to wave home the runner. Make sure you're on your toes. Good thing the lefty's up. Harrison 2 for 2 today, 2-out double. Base hit could not the score. Now Anderson set to work. Jaso ahead in the count. He has homered in 4 career at bats against Anderson. Harrison at second with 2 outs. Now 2-2. Jaso, a longtime catcher, many chats with umpires through the years. DH last year, converted to first base this year. Has done a decent job over there. Now giving way to Josh Bell.
Been hitting the ball very well off the bench. Doing a good job as a pinch hitter, that's for sure. Was outstanding early in the year with that on-base percentage. The first couple of months of the season, April and May, man, he was getting on. Seemed like 3 times a game, batting leadoff.
Yeah, early on, especially June, July, kind of slid a little bit. They bring up Josh Bell to play every day. but you're right, hitting .333 as a pinch hitter. Count full on him. Right into the shift. Low liner snared by Jeanette. He's lined out twice today, and the Pirates strand that 2-out double.
It's time for the Toyota RAV4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Cool shot of Danny Murtaugh there. Here, having some late summer fun here in the Allegheny. Pirates, though, trail 1-0. It's been a tough day at the office for the umps. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, has already ejected Craig Counsell, the Brewers manager, from the ball game. We've seen 2 challenges by the Brewers, 1-1 loss. Pat Murphy now in charge for the rest of this one. Took a run off the board for the Brewers, so Stephen Brault, 1 run through 3. He's worked with some traffic.
Yeah, needs an efficient inning. You know, would love to see him get like maybe a 12-pitch inning,
as he did in the first. That's nice.
Yeah.
Start off with a ground ball.
Pitch out, beautiful thing.
And get the guy who homered off him last time around. Out on 2 pitches. That's ahead of your pace.
Yep. If he has another 20-pitch inning, then going 6 innings would be very tough, because that would put him up in the 80s as far as his pitch count through 4. This is a very important inning for him if he wants to get through 6 innings.
Now that is a stated goal of his, to try to do that more often. He went 4 his last start, throwing 92 pitches against the Cubs. Cubs, one of the best offenses in baseball. Brewers have overall their numbers in the bottom 6 in runs per game overall this year, 25th out of the 30 teams. And that's without Jonathan Lucroy, who's been traded. Ryan Braun not in the lineup today. Manny Pena flied out his first time. And 3-1. He's back and gets a swing and a miss.
Got away with one there. It's a good example. We talk about, he left one in the middle of the plate. He got to hit hard. Well, here's one you left in the middle of the plate on a 3-1 count and got a swing and a miss. So you can make a mistake at this level, and bad things don't always happen.
Payoff pitch. And he walks Pena with 1 out. Second walk issued by Brault today. We invite you to renew your season ticket membership now. You can get the pay as we play for your postseason tickets. Instead of paying for the entire postseason up front, you get charged round by round as the Pirates clinch a berth in each series, but only when you renew by Wednesday at 5 p.m. So call now or go to pirates.com/2017. And there's Mike, one of the longtime Pirates season ticket holders. Appreciate all of them coming to the ball game, making this a great place to work. It has been some ups and downs throughout the year, but the Pirates still hanging around and have a chance to go into October. All you need is a chance to get in. Pirates down 2.5 games starting play today. Pirates have lost 5 in a row, including the first 2 games of this homestand to the Brewers, who entered this series with the worst road record in all of baseball. Down a run here in the 4th. And Brault takes care of Scooter Gennett. 4 strikeouts today.
Gennett looking up the scoreboard. He wants to see the replay of this swing, and he's not going to like it. He's going to see a chase on a slider down.
Four. Jake Elmore flat out. Longtime journeyman. Briefly a Pirates property in an off season between 14 and 15. Never wore the black and gold. Well, Brault getting a little more aggressive. He did walk Pena, but seems like he's trying to challenge these hitters now toward the bottom of the lineup. Always like to see Ray Searage with that upside down frown. Smile. Brault comes back with a couple of strikeouts. Strands the walk. See if the Pirates bats can get going, trailing here 1-0. in Pirates history back on September 4th, 1982. Lee Tunnell making his major league debut. He was a replacement for John Candelaria, earning the win as the Pirates beating the Dodgers 1-0 that day. He beat Fernando Valenzuela at a sold-out Dodgers Stadium on a day where he threw batting practice earlier in the day and was told a few minutes before game time that he would have to start for the Candyman. Lee Tunnell, now the bullpen coach of the Brewers. There he is, Lee Tunnell. Fort Pitt, that's what his nickname was. Great to see him here with Milwaukee. Several years with the Buccos. Talk about that. Could you imagine that today? A guy throwing around a batting practice, an actual pitcher on the team, and then having to start that same, just a couple hours later. Never see that again. Andrew McCutchen hustling down the line. He's got a base hit.
Yeah, that sort of thing really wasn't all that uncommon back in those days. Nowadays, yeah, it would be,
there'd be an agent involved.
You have to start getting ready days before your start. If something is a little different, then you can't pitch.
Might be a grievance filed with the Players Association. Simpler times back in the 80s.
Not just the 80s. Simpler times for 120 years. Until just recently.
Polanco struck out on a foul tip back of the second. Team leader in home runs and runs batted in. Got underneath it. Shallow left for Elmore. One away in the Pirates' fourth inning. This is kind of shaping up like the last time they saw Chase Anderson. He quieted the Pirates through the first 5 innings and then gave up a pair of home runs in the 6th. They knocked him out. That was back in Milwaukee on Sunday, last Sunday. Pirates won that game 3-1. Might history repeat itself?
It definitely is shaping up like that. Let's hope it does repeat itself.
Anderson has not been a guy that has gone deep in the ball game, so kind of surprising to see his pitch count so low. He's gone 6 innings or more once in his last 13 starts. Been a 5 and dive guy for the most part. 0-1 to Marte. Although Anderson's numbers have improved, coming in his last 7 starts in ERA .306, but averaging about 4.5 innings a start. Tough to double up Marte, but that's about as tailor-made as it gets. And the leadoff single erased. Still 1-0 Milwaukee. That's to be sure. Grichuk, since that last call up, he has been tearing the cover off the ball for St. Louis. Cardinals, though, have really been lackluster. That's a big reason why the Pirates have been able to hang around. Is Cardinals 5-8 in their last 13 games. They played the Phillies. Mets are obviously pretty good. Oakland, Brewers, Reds. So they've been playing teams that are backing out of it, sub 500 teams, and they haven't been winning a whole lot. So it's not exclusively the Pirates losing to the Brewers here in these first two games. A lot of teams. Who wants it less? Down the stretch here. Right out to Polanco. It's going to change around, though, as it does about a million more times before 4 weeks from today.
Polanco in nice and shallow with the pitcher up there hitting, so didn't have to move much to get that one.
So a quick out. Brault, 75 pitches here. Keon Broxton doubled to start the ball game, but was doubled off on a line drive by Arcia. Down the line and into the corner. Broxton runs well. And Polanco gets that one in quickly. Got one in a little slower last night, and Perez took third on it, that time keeping Broxton to 2.
Broxton going with the ball down and away. Just kind of flicked it down that line.
Brault was mad at himself after the pitch. A little reaction there. 2 doubles today, now 10 for Broxton in his brief action at the big club. Arcia lined out sharply and has walked today. Hitting .333 in his last 10 games coming in. Broxton can score on a base hit. He's trying to steal third. And he is out. Chris Stewart throws out Arcia, or Broxton, I should say. For just the second time all year, Broxton thrown out.
That's got to make Stewart feel pretty good. Throwing out a guy like Broxton, getting challenged in his first game back. There's the throw down, and oh, he was really safe, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brewers out of challenges.
Yep, doesn't matter now. Oh yeah, he was safe easy. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah, they challenged that play, Bob, that you said that they shouldn't challenge.
Absolutely unchallengeable. That was very foolish on their part, in my opinion, but
that fair or foul action down the right field line.
Challenge things you know are going to be overturned, or if it's the 9th inning, challenge anything you want.
Pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Arcia draws a second walk, so instead of 2 men on with 1 out, it's a runner at first with 2 outs. That's Arcia, who could steal a bag. He's swiped 3 for 3 so far. And Stewart right back in the game. First game with the Pirates in more than 2 months. Broxton now 21 for 23 this season trying to steal. Only second time he's been thrown out. Got to make Chris Stewart feel good. It's a big swing here in this 1-run game in the 5th.
Absolutely. Get that runner off third base with 1 out.
Getting another out for Brault, too. I would say Brault an improved outing today, but it's not been really untested. He's had a base runner on in every inning. You look at that number 1 right there, and those first pitch strikes coming way up now. He's getting ahead of hitters more and more. He did not do that earlier in the game. But falling behind here after walking Arcia. Yeah, 9 straight batters he had gotten strike 1 on until Arcia here and now Perez.
Nothing going on in the bullpen right now. See the door to the telephone is open.
Well, his spot is due up 4th in the bottom of the 5th, and with the Pirates trailing, depending on the situation, if that spot even comes up.
And he is in the 80s in the pitch count, which is what we talk about all the time for good reason. That's a huge part of these changes. Looks like it's going to be Hughes.
A little mound confab here. And you don't want to miss all the action. Watch the drive to the pennant with MLB.com Premium. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 supported devices. And you can enjoy a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv. After the chat, Jared Hughes getting up. Frazier gets the force. How many times has Ray Searage come out on the next pitch to get it out? Strands the runner, still 1-0 Milwaukee.
Pirates baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Visit our brand new Kia showroom in Wexford. More vehicles than ever at the very best prices. Let's go Bucks!
What is that? Some what is that?
A parrot's head.
Sorcery? Come on. Chase Anderson back out for Milwaukee.
You know how they put like an eagle on top of a flagpole for the American flag? You put a parrot head on top of a flagpole for the Jolly Roger.
Oh, I see. I'm learning this stuff.
I just made that up.
Oh, well, it's very convincing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll have to change my flagpole at home and put one on.
Hey, you gotta put a parrot on it.
With beads. Black and gold beads.
Yeah, you gotta have the beads.
Yeah. The Renegades. Renegading. Tough job being a renegade. take a little time off.
No chairs up there. On your feet the whole time. It's kind of like being an umpire. You spend the whole game standing and hydrating, standing and hydrating.
Yeah, warm day in a pierogi outfit. I've been the team mascot before in Charleston, South Carolina, for a brief time. It's hot down there in the summer. There's Bill.
Must be cold down there, but he's got a coat on.
Yeah. That's how he stays super cool.
Cool's up here with us.
Oh, that's right. That might be a little toastier up there in that sun. Those guys always amaze me. They can't leave their post. Good weather or bad.
You have to have supplies there. You have to make sure you do everything you need to do before the game starts.
Oh, it's a little cooler in the booth today.
Now we have Susie Cool with us. Susie's doing a great job too. Everything's being fine. If there's a foul ball coming this way, she's got her glove with her.
We are set. Because you know I'm going to be ducking, so we need some help here. And with Susie up here, we're still covered downstairs.
There hasn't been a lot of action down the lines today.
Heidi, Taylor, and Olivia are on the crew today.
Not a lot to do yet.
It's okay. They're at the ready.
You know, it could be
That's Heidi.
You could get a flurry at any time, though, so you got to always be ready.
Olivia down the line. Well, just as we say that.
Oh, it didn't make it there.
Ah,
man. Was that
man.
Heidi or Olivia?
That's Olivia.
Olivia. She was ready.
Look at her.
What kind of gloves she have on? I think she was kind of glove.
Spring-like. Yeah.
Was that Easton? I couldn't see.
This one in Fairground. Put a little ham on that ball, I guess.
Tying run aboard. They made a nice pickup and couldn't get the ball out of his glove.
From the wild and the wacky.
We'll see what happens with Frazier now. Good speed. Will he try to advance with one out?
Frazier's made some things happen today with that speed. Garcia originally ruled an error. Brewers challenged that he was out, and he was. Overturned it, but
looks like I would think that Brault's day is done now, unless a double play would happen.
There's the view from
part of the crew, huh?
Yeah. I'm with the crew. That's Bill Schutz right there.
Nice shot, Bill.
Right behind.
Look how smooth that camera was moving.
When I was a teenager, I used to work camera and try to learn how to do it, and I would still trying to learn. Those guys make it look so easy. They find everything, following the action. I did it for the Fraser, Michigan Falcons minor league hockey team, and the puck was not usually in my viewfinder, so I tried to do something else. Here's Juan Nicasio loosening.
Most likely will pitch the 6th.
Oh, 2. Easy to have a lot of respect for those guys. 0-2. Popped him up. Here's Stewart. Jeanette dropped the ball.
That gets Frazier off the bases.
Well, now look at that.
And Stewart stays.
A much slower runner.
Took a lot of speed off the bases right there with that play. Obviously, there's nothing that Frazier can do. He can't take off. He's got to stay right there at the bag.
Oh. I need to run. Well, yeah, you can't do anything about it. You come off the bag and then they double you off. So, a little savvy.
And that's a good example of why even when you're out for sure on a pop fly, you have to go to first base. Because we see guys that don't run, peel off early and start walking to the dugout. Well, if you have an infielder that does that to you, that's a double play. Because now he throws to first base, he tags the runner, who in this case would have been Frazier, and then steps on the base. And they got 2 outs. So even if you're out for sure, pop fly, you got to go ahead and at least a nice quick jog down toward first base.
And everyone's saying, I haven't seen that in a long time. But just a savvy play by Jeanette. You hardly see that, though. Well, I guess if you're going to have 2 runners that are that different in speed, it makes a lot of sense.
Bell at the plate.
Pinch hitting for Brault, whose day is done. Josh Bell 3 for 4 as a pinch hitter, including a grand slam. 286 overall in his 42 big league at bats. Pena keeps it right there. Stewart on at first. Can't go anywhere. A little dust up. Right into the shift. And that ends things here in the Pirates' 5th inning. So Chase Anderson, 5 scoreless. And Juan Nicasio coming on. Fourth major league start, and although he had some men on today, was effective.
Yeah, you said that he wanted to keep the ball down. I thought he pretty much was able to do that this afternoon. That he did keep the ball down, and And really, he didn't get that 6 innings we were talking about, but not because of his fault. We're not scoring a lot of runs, so he has no lead, so he's pinch hit for it. But he only had 84 pitches through 5 innings. That's not bad at all. And I'd have to, technically this is not a quality start, but because he came out as a pinch hitter and only gave up 1 run, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Bob Walk stamp of approval.
Yeah, I think the quality start is, I don't know, you got to kind of use some common sense about that. It came out as a pinch hitter, only gave up 1 run. I mean, he did everything that was asked of him, that's for sure.
Gives way to Juan Nicasio.
And now Juan Nicasio and the rest of the Pirate bullpen, or at least for the time being, are asked to put up zeros. Pirates still down by that 1-0 score.
So Brault will not be in position for his first major league win, but hey, kept the ball club in the ball game. Chris Carter homered yesterday and hits this one toward the notch. Stays up on the near fence though. Carter doesn't run well, so he'll jog in with a leadoff double. Right down the middle to start things. Trying to get ahead.
Yep, trying to throw strike 1, and Carter took advantage of it. It's a soft bounce too off the bullpen fence. Makes Kutch have to run all the way to the base of the wall to pick that one up. Got no rebound.
.26 doubles. Nicasio will have to try to wriggle out of this one with Domingo Santana, who is homered today. That is the lone run of the game. Controversial obstruction call in the 3rd inning took a run off the board for Milwaukee.
Interesting, Santana taking that first pitch. You would think that he was stepping into the box thinking, okay, I got to hit this ball to the right side.
And he does.
And he does.
Carter will be held at 3rd. And now a little bit of trouble here. 1st and 3rd, no men out.
The reason I was saying that before he hit that ball was because that first pitch was a perfect pitch to hit that way. But then as it turned out, so was the second pitch, almost in the same spot. The second time he takes advantage of it. You can see where the first one was. He decided to take it. The next one almost overlapped it, and he wasn't going to take 2 out there. The reason he's trying to hit the ball to that side is even if he makes an out, it's a productive out. He moves Carter to 3rd base. So now there's a little bit of a problem. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Going to have to do a little work to put that 0 up.
And the infield back, they'll trade the run for 2 outs with Pena. Does not run well.
Come home if it's hit to a corner. Get 2 in the middle. If it's a real hard hit ball to the middle, Carter doesn't run well.
They might, the way that
if they see they got if they see they have an easy out at the plate, they might try to come home.
With the rest of the bottom of the order due to follow.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not in the. You get the bottom of the lineup coming up, so if you stop the run. Now maybe you got a chance to put that 0 up.
Corners about even with the bag. One and 2 on Manny Pena. The glory from the rotunda.
Yep. I think parrots on all their flags.
As they should.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, that is.
Looks like it's Miller time up there.
Also. Oh. Why not have a cold one today? Sunday afternoon, sun shining. Labor Day weekend. Hey, let's give you a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
You too can be a renegade.
You may be wearing those clothes if you have one. Please drink responsibly. He strikes out Pena. That's a big first out. Nice to have a strikeout pitcher in that kind of situation.
Yep, absolutely. Now that double play would look sweet. Right on by him. And there's, again, fastball pretty much down the middle. And it's a swing and a miss. Pointing now out to, I think that was Sean Rodriguez he was pointing to.
Be ready. I got one coming your way.
Well, he's telling them that it's you and me on a double play. Ball back to the mound. That's what they're relaying right there.
Going to get out of first and third with nobody out, now with one away. Corner's still around the bag with Frazier playing off a bit. Scooter Gennett has bounced into 11 double plays. Today he has singled and struck out. Single coming back in the second. And there's a strike. His hands at 95. Nicasio last pitched on Friday, a scoreless inning. Since joining the bullpen full time in his 24 games, an ERA of .237. He has gone from being a ineffective starting pitcher to a huge asset out of the bullpen. Long wait now. Time called.
I know if he's back. Hey, just look at Eddie and tell Domingo to watch. Look at Eddie and tell Domingo to watch.
2 on, 1 out. And 2-2 now on Scooter Gennett. Two on with 1 out. 1-0 Brewers lead. Fouled away. 97 from Juan Nicasio. He's been dialing it up. Pirates have lost 5 in a row. They have lost the first 2 games of this series to the Brewers. Tyler Cravey getting up in the Milwaukee pen. Brewers coming into the series with the poorest record away from home in baseball, but Pirates got to keep this one close with the bats being quieted lately. Popped him up right in front of the plate, and Jaso makes the catch in foul ground for the second out. Another big out by Juan Nicasio. Now you don't even need a double play ball. No fly ball. Just get the batter.
Perfect pitch. Right up and in on his hands. Would have been ironic if that would have been a fair ball and
Jaso let it drop.
And then get the double play because Jeanette didn't run.
We've seen some reflections earlier today. Jake Elmore 0 for 2. Elmore just 1 for 21 against right-handed batters this year. Or pitchers, I beg your pardon. Two on now with 2 outs. And the 1-0. Elmore has bounced around, getting a rare start today. Now Nicasio behind on him, 2-1. Pitcher spot is due next, and at the moment Anderson is in the on deck circle. But I would imagine if this inning continues that Craig Counsell would go to his bench, which has an additional player today. Yadiel Rivera recalled.
They have a huge number of players in the bullpen.
Now 3-1 on Elmore.
So they have plenty of reserves there.
Bit of a short bench for Counsell, even for September, pre-September standards prior. The bullpen with 10 righties down there and a lefty. Dugout not quite as full. 3-1 to Elmore. There's a strike, 3-2. Well, this is, I would say, the weakest hitter in this lineup, save for the pitcher, of course, but I don't think the pitcher's going to bat if it gets to him. This is the guy Nicasio wants. He's gotten Pena to strike out. He popped up Jeanette after Carter led off with a double and moved to third on Santana's single. He's a strike away from getting out of it. Trying to keep it a 1-0 game here in the 6th. Santana will be on the move. And a 3-2. Try another.
Reached back for something there. That 97. Put it right at the letters.
And a lot of base runners for Milwaukee today, but the irony is they got their run on a home run. Another 3-2. Another foul into the lower seats.
Everybody was watching. That one was hit hard into the stands.
say in 8th pitch of this at bat. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. Another 3-2 and another foul.
Definitely going at him with hard stuff here. Trying to throw the ball by him.
Tali Phillies off the game yesterday with an injury to his arm. No further explanation other than Neil Huntington saying today on his radio show that it might be a more muscular concern for Phillies. Here comes pitch number 9 of this at bat. And he walks Elmore. And now the bases are loaded. And last night, Phillies throwing that first pitch to Nieuwenhuis, and you could see that grimace on his face. Something wasn't right. And
so the look of some soreness, basically. It looked like that after a pitch, you know, that there's something in there that's hurting a little.
Better to be safe than sorry, and so Phillies studying hitters down there with Kelvin Marte. Ray Searage out for a mound chat. Jonathan Villar was announced as the pinch hitter, as both starting pitchers will have gone 5 innings today. Anderson leaves after 5 shutout innings. But with the Brewers an opportunity to add on to a narrow lead. Craig Counsell, well, I shouldn't say Craig Counsell, he's been ejected. Pat Murphy electing to try to go for offense here with VR, who did not play yesterday. He was hurt in that collision with Josh Harrison at third base in the opener of this series. A sore left knee. Switch hitter stands in left with the bases full of Brewers and 2 outs. Nowhere to put him. He's down ball 1. Now 2-0. Nicasio did a lot of the heavy plowing, striking out Pena, and then getting Jeanette to pop up with runners at first and third and nobody out at that time. He walked Elmore, a 197 hitter.
And now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and still can't quite get there.
2-0. Strike. And a needed strike to VR.
Kind of gave him one there. The ball looked like it was out there where the other ones were. But that was a needed strike call for sure. There you go.
Mano y mano.
That one was in the strike zone. Came up empty.
I dare you.
One more strike.
2-2. Foul ball. Nice play, Heidi.
Nice job. Now the selection process begins. Who do you give the ball to? Have deals already been struck? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Maybe we'll find out. All right, I will give you this baseball for all your Halloween candy. Out to left. And this one gets out of here. VR, a pinch hit grand slam right down the line in left. And the Brewers go from being a strike away from being out of that to up 5-0. Wow.
Pinch hit grand slam.
A huge turn of events.
You always hope to play your cards at the right moment. They played the VR card and it paid off. 97. Nicasio supplied a lot of that power with that fastball.
Well, he didn't get Elmore. And then you knew it was going to be either VR or Braun. And VR is the man here. 12th home run. 5-0 Brewers, and now the Pirates have their work cut out for them here as they're facing a series sweep in the face here at PNC Park, thanks to that big blast by VR. And I was surprised that that ball carried as well as it did, but when you get right down that line, it didn't have to go very far. 361 feet on StatCast. It was hit hard, 101 miles an hour. Gives you an idea. That's why it jumped out of here. Nicasio has pitched very, very well out of the Pirates bullpen. This is a tough one to stomach. And what has been a huge strength for the Pirates, especially in the last several months. It has been a tough one the last couple of nights. The bullpen, even up 4 in the 8th, another in the 9th yesterday, and here 4 on one swing of the bat by VR. And it's all for Nicasio here, at least for the moment. A hard time throwing strikes. The pitch count rising in this inning. 35. Probably can't give him more than one more batter after this.
Nobody's throwing, so have at least one more.
Let's see if
this looks like the last out.
Yeah, that will answer that. Brewers strike for 4 on the pinch hit grand slam by Jonathan VR. It's 5-0 Milwaukee. Bottom of the 6th. Oh, it's been that kind of a homestand. Make sure your head's on straight. And a clunker. But a chance still to turn this one around, but down 5-0. Going to be a tall hill to climb the rest of this one. And they'll start with Tyler Cravey, first out of the Brewers bullpen here today.
Got nothing to do now but get back at him. Can't get down. No time left in the season for that sort of thing. Every inning precious. The Cardinals coming in after this. Got to try to pull this one out today.
Cardinals leading in their game.
I mean, get 12 outs. So, I mean, 5 runs. It's not easy, but it's doable.
Pirates scored 3 times in the final 3 innings last night. Need more than that here, though, today. Clint Fagan got a piece of that. Vice versa, I should say. Right on that bare arm.
As a pitcher, you don't ever want to see the umpire hit on the right arm.
Should I go up with the strike?
Well, yeah, because now it's sore. It's sore. Yeah, I don't want to read. No, this is a ball. That's a ball.
Well into center, but enough room for Broxton. Harrison retired for the first time today. Pirates, since June 1st, their offense has been in the bottom third, 23rd out of the 30 teams in runs per game. Got off to a great start offensively, but we've seen some spells here where it's just not been easy for the Pirates to score runs. You look at the starting efforts here in this series. That's strike. Pirates starters, 17 innings. They give up 4 runs. And right now, looking at a rough go of things. Chad Kuhl is next on the docket. Set to go against Adam Wainwright tomorrow on Labor Day. 4:05 start for those attending or tuning in. Jaso has stung the ball a couple of times today. He's lined out twice. Two home runs today for Milwaukee. Home run by Santana in the second and a pinch hit grand slam by VR in the 6th. That's what got the scoring started. Out to deep right and off the top of the wall.
Not high enough.
And Jaso just getting in with that 1-out double. 21-foot high wall and almost
hit 20 feet.
All of that from Jaso. Good look on our Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl.
If this was a little later in the game, I would say, okay, I'm glad that ball didn't get out, because a lot of times solo home runs don't amount to much other than 1 run. But the way you get a bigger inning going is you get a double, a walk, somebody else hits a single. You know, you get that momentum going. You get the pitcher out there in that stretch position with runners on base. He starts changing the way he pitches a little bit. The solo home run doesn't change anything for the pitcher, though.
I think last night a solo home run changed the way the Pirates felt about hitting. And Andrew McCutcheon's game-tying home run in the 7th. Pirates were able to score a couple more times. Put that tying run on base in the 8th. It kind of maybe got the door open a little bit. Hitting is contagious, right? You see a guy hit a home run. Maybe you just, I don't know, the mind opens up a little bit, it seems. Not all the time, but a lot.
Well, I'm talking from a pitcher's point of view. A solo home run does nothing to you. A double, a couple singles, you start getting guys on base. Now they're playing, the infield's playing in for a double play instead of playing back. Now it's easier for runs or a single or ground balls to get through the infield. It actually changes what's going on out on the field. Or a solo home run.
Still don't have any base runners.
Doesn't change anything.
He trots around the bases and then score changes, but no jam. Polanco 0 for 2 today. He's hitless in his last 12.
There's an old baseball saying: you want to kill a rally, hit a home run. Rally's over. And there's truth to that. Now it's good. You had the rally. The home run scored runs. But what keeps the rallies going are walks, doubles, that sort of thing.
That one stays in the park. And that double by Jaso. He's left at second. It's still 5-0 Milwaukee.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
7th inning. And our UPMC scoreboard, Milwaukee has a 5-0 advantage. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend. Tough one here at the ball yard this weekend. But still 9 outs to go and a chance to squeak out one against these Brewers. Matt Joyce is in the ball game. He's out in right field on the double switch. Polanco made the final out of the 6th, and Kelvin Marte made his major league debut last night. 10-year minor leaguer working to Orlando Arcia. Couple of walks. And add a base hit to his resume. Look at some of our Point Park tweets, and this is from Bones. Scott Bonnet, the clubhouse manager of the Pirates, and this is yesterday with Kelvin Marte getting his lineup card, a baseball. He struck out Ryan Braun for his first strikeout. That's Not a bad guy to retire. 10 years in the minors before getting that call. Harrison gets one, and that'll be all, but a nice play to get that lead out.
Yeah, that's what you have to do down 5-0. You don't have the luxury of just getting A out. You got to take a little bit of a chance and try to get the lead out, and they came close to turning it into double play. Now, if you were winning 5-0, different story. You probably then just take the easy out at first base.
Harrison always active, talking, running around. Chris Carter with a double his last trip. And Frazier with a nifty play. Look at 2. Around the horn.
To Brian McCurdy of the United States Marine Corps. Brian served from 2003 through 2007, was deployed to Iraq twice during Operation Enduring Freedom, and was honorably discharged in 2007. While in combat, Brian suffered hearing loss and joint damage from his years of service. We are pleased to have Brian home and proud to have him here with us today. And now here to lead us with God Bless America is Chelsea Hurt.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Milwaukee leading 5-0, and home plate umpire Clint Fagan was hit with a foul tip earlier in that right forearm. And Ben Potenziano, the assistant athletic trainer for the Pirates, hoping to try to let him get through the rest of the game. Some of that play by Adam Frazier over there at third to start that double play. He's only played 16 innings at third base as a pro, mostly at shortstop, and getting his first extended game at third base in the major leagues. Nice start there. Now the bats need to get on the move. Starling Marte hitless 2 trips. High to center, but playable. Roxton has the first out. Now the Pirates have not had a ton of chances in this series, but they're 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position, and that can explain some of that. But we look at our Point Park tweets, and Kyle saying, yeah, the Buccos can still come back. It's been really hard to remember. The Pirates, you know, when they don't score a lot, you get kind of down. They've lost 5 in a row. The Pirates are 2.5 out of the wild card. Now that clearly they've got to play better than they played. They've gotten strong starting pitching over the weekend. They got to just put everything together here. And after today, 28 games remain. Makes it tougher every day you don't get that win, but still plenty of opportunity, especially as you pointed out, Bob, with the Cardinals coming to town this next 3. Here you got it right in front of you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be right there now. If things don't change against the Cardinals,
then
that's not good.
Then the tumbleweed starts to roll through a little bit.
You can't have the Cardinals come in here and win 3. But this one's still not over.
Well, what's interesting is Adam Wainwright hasn't won since mid-July, and then the Cardinals will start 2 other rookies after that, Luke Weaver and Alex Reyes. Now talented young pitchers to be sure, but rookies.
Kind of what we've been doing.
Yeah, a lot of people look on the, you know, okay, who's cool, who's Tyone, who both will start in that series as well. Maybe those aren't names that we've gotten bandied about yet, but those guys are very talented.
3 rookies
in the rotation right now. Yeah, with Brault today, 1 run over 5 innings for Brault. Cool will go tomorrow against Wainwright. Will stay up there for Santana. And speaking of tomorrow, the Pirates welcoming in St. Louis and then hoping to turn them right around after 3 straight losses, right? Early game tomorrow for Labor Day. Cardinals and the Pirates. At 3:30, our coverage begins with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason right here on Root Sports. Cool and the gang trying to get things going tomorrow. The actual band is actually here in the area tonight. Coincidentally, I just thought of that. Adam Frazier with a base hit his last time. Pirates down 5-0. Couple of home runs. Santana a solo home run in the second, and then a pinch hit grand slam by Jonathan Villar off Juan Nicasio. Santana, who started the scoring. A 2-out walk to Elmore, loaded the bases. And then Villar, a strike away from being out of that inning, keeping it 1-0. Hit it right down the left field line. Now full on Frazier. Pirates have had a single hit in every inning. And now
get a base runner.
Can't let a single opportunity now go by the boards. Talking earlier about 12 outs left, and now we're down to 7 left. Any base runner is an opportunity.
Now with 2 outs, even down 5 runs.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not talking about running, but it's an opportunity for a ball to, you know, maybe get down into the corner or whatever, into a gap. Need a double.
We'll talk about using every opportunity. Clint Hurdle is going to pinch it with Jason Rogers here. You know, just all right. I think he's a little bit better hitter than Stewart. Let's go with this right now. Well, there's no time to lose.
You really, in September baseball, there's so many opportunities, more opportunities for the manager to really, you know, make a difference as far as strategy. So many more players that they can use both in the bullpen and on the bench. It's really, I think, interesting to see how, you know, who they take out, who they run up there.
That's a great point.
It's you know, if you're really, you know, one of those baseball fans that like that part of the game, this is a great time of year. You know, would you make that? Who would you put up there? Those kind of things.
Managers can match up a whole lot more.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Added personnel.
It's tough for the manager of the team in the field to get the matchup they want sometimes, because during the regular season, you know, you bring in a pitcher to face, say, a pinch hitter. You probably got a pretty good chance you're going to face that pinch hitter, because rarely does a manager want to use 2 players for that one spot, especially nowadays with the small bench, the big bullpens. But now in September, you got kind of an unlimited bench in a lot of teams. So yeah, you got no problem now bringing the pinch hitter you just sent up there, bring him back and throw up a different guy, because you want to make a change, because they made a change on the mound.
And usually teams have a full cachet of righties, lefties out of the bullpen. You can use whatever you want.
So the manager that's on offense, he always gets the last call as far as the changes are concerned, and he's a little constrained during the regular year because you only have, you know, maybe 4 guys sitting over there. And you don't want to use 2 of them on one move.
And once a pitcher's brought in, they have to face at least 1 batter.
But you know, the batters, they don't have to face a pitcher. They can be put in the game and then taken right back out.
Can't be reused after that, though, of course. 2-2 to Rogers. And he'll be thrown out to end the inning. 2-out walk left on. Pirates still down 5-0.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. By Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing. And by Levin Mattress, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
8th inning, and it remains 5-0 Milwaukee. On our UPMC scoreboard. Don't give up on us yet. Still a chance, but a tough road to hoe here for the Pirates, who are facing getting swept here after losing all 3 games in Chicago. And Eric Fryer now in to catch, as Stewart was pinch hit for. Santana with a home run and a single today. No Ryan Braun in this lineup. VR also didn't start, but he came in and made a huge impact with a pinch hit grand slam. Even on Santana. I like some of those slogans. Yeah, folks doing a little shopping. Catch them all. Catched them all last night. 19 home runs now. Catching the swing of the bat a little better since that 3-day layoff against Atlanta. Look at all that stuff. Some throwback stuff. I gotta get down there. I don't have enough stuff yet.
You gotta get more stuff.
Yeah, I gotta get. No, I'm gonna have my stuff. Olivia has got to go. Well, that ball played her. Let's be fair. Kind of kicked away out there.
It was a tough bounce off the railing, which showed good hustle going after. It's a nice pitch there.
Well, a cue shot. Santana is out, and we go back to the studios. Dan Potash with a game break. Did he get his hand sliding in there? He should have kept his hand back. Well, now the updated standings, and the Pirates would need to come back to stay pace with St. Louis now. Pirates would slide to an even 500 record. Hot shot handled nicely by Frazier.
A couple of nice backhand plays in the last 2 innings. Hard hit.
Talking with him the other day about playing third, he said, you know, taking a little while to get all that comfortable over there, but he felt confident he could play the position, playing short.
Kind of like playing shortstop in a severe pull position. A few things that are different. You get some different responsibilities on certain plays. The bunt situations, whether it's a fast guy bunting for a hit or the different bunt defenses you put on, gotta learn those. But other than that, it's catching ground balls and then making the long throw.
Kelvin Marte with a couple of scoreless innings. Zambelli fireworks coming up. And remember, you can pay no fees when you buy your tickets now through tomorrow at Pirates.com. And Zambelli fireworks coming up on Thursday and Saturday. Coming up when the Reds come to town. So come on out to PNC Park. Join us here in September, and some great fireworks shows as well.
Those Reds seem to be playing better baseball of late. They
taking some against the Cardinals.
Yeah, they are in a kind of a rebuilding situation over there, but seems to be going pretty good. Trying to just keep dancing.
Yadiel Rivera, just called up today, is now in there at second base on the double switch. Jacob Barnes is aboard.
See Barnes' numbers on the year in just 17 ball games. Only 4 base on balls in those 17 games. Looks like he's a guy that makes you swing the bat and beat himself.
Matt Joyce, who came in on a double switch earlier, batting for the first time.
Stung a little bit, huh? Off the end of the bat.
Tyler Cravey goes 2 innings for Milwaukee. On a 96. 14th rounder 5 years ago, making his big league debut this season out of Florida Gulf Coast University out of Fort Myers.
I like it. A reliever that throws a windup.
Yeah, you don't see that a whole lot, huh? He's been a starting pitcher earlier in his career. Last couple of years out of the bullpen. And the windup's supposed to help you, right? A little momentum behind the pitch, and that the whole reasoning for it.
Yeah, I mean,
take a little off your arm.
Like an outfielder making a throw from the outfield, you don't see them like just throwing from a dead stop flat-footed. They try to get a little something going to throw the ball. It's the same type deal.
Yeah, some pitchers, I guess, they can't repeat their delivery very well, so they pitch exclusively from the stretch, so that way they only have one way of pitching.
That's the theory.
Josh Harrison today, 2 out of 3.
The best relievers that I know of with the greatest control is Melanson, and he throws from a windup. So it can be done.
In the air down the line. But watch it. That'll be Rivera in foul ground.
Not much going on here, is there, with the offense last couple innings?
That little one's hanging in there. Mine left. Mine's already home. First game for Nancy today, so that was fun. She lasted about 5 or 6 innings.
Did she?
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, 5, 6 innings.
9 months old.
Not bad at all.
Little Tyke hanging in there too. Jaso with a double his last time, also lined out hard a couple of times. Getting a rare start now that Josh Bell has been getting the playing time at first. It's a little bit about what this time of year is for. Of course, the Pirates trying to push for the postseason while also trying to evaluate some young players. We've seen Stephen Brault start today. And Bell, they want to know, hey, is this going to be the guy that we want to open up with at first next year? because sometimes what a guy does, there's Bell, sometimes what a guy does in AAA doesn't equate to the major leagues, good and bad. So far, it looks like that bad is pretty much like what he's done down in the minor leagues. Two and two on Jaso. This one hit well to right center. Broxton back and makes the catch.
Wow, he covered a ton of ground, didn't he? He is fast.
Not good with the behind the back, though. Nothing Milwaukee. John Jaso gave it a ride to end that 8th inning. The Pirates still with the donut on the board.
I mean, look where Keon was. He was way over into left center, and he went that far to make that catch right against the padding. And this is really a fine play by the Brewers center fielder. Great concentration, good time of the leap. Fine, fine play.
Only, yeah.
Jaso doing a little extra upper body work there, huh? Trying to add a little strength.
A couple of more feet.
Yep.
And Jaso swung the bat well today. He hit the ball hard all 4 times. Kelvin Marte didn't pitch for a week and a half. Got in yesterday. There's Broxton, who was briefly with the Pirates at this time last year, benefiting from more playing time with the Brewers. Two and one on Elmore, who drew that key walk, that 9-pitch at bat in the 6th inning with 2 outs. That loaded the bases and brought up a pinch hitter in VR who hit a grand slam. And so Elmore deserves that credit to help keeping that inning going. A guy who at that point 1 for 21 against righty pitching in the big leagues.
Yeah, that was a huge at bat in this ball game. I'll definitely agree with you on that one. That in some ways could be a turning point type at bat. Drawing that key walk to load the bases.
Draws another here.
Yep.
Marte has delivered 2 scoreless innings of relief. Trying to save the bullpen a little bit here. Yadiel Rivera came in on a double switch, batting for the first time, and threw for a hit. Rivera hitting .204 in his brief time with the Brewers prior to today's call-up.
Sean slamming his fist into the ground. Couldn't quite get to that one. Anytime you can dive and make a catch in that scenario, you might be able to get up in that little backhand flip to get an out.
Nips the inner edge.
Here it is again. Guy makes a great catch and he comes up third the next inning.
How many times do we see that?
All the time.
A couple of doubles today for Broxton. Playable for McCutcheon. One more tags, but won't even try to advance. So 1 out in the Milwaukee 9th inning. Kelvin Marte with a long road. It was signed back in 2007. This was his 10th minor league season. He barely had pitched in AAA even. So as Arcia been on base 3 times today. And for Marte, was hoping last night, his major league debut, that his wife would be able to join him, but she's back in Arizona as they're expecting their 2nd child any time now. So the rest of his family back in the Dominican Republic. So Marte doing this on his own last couple of days.
It has to be a huge thrill for him no matter what. 10 years in the minor leagues to finally make it.
And wearing the uniforms of the 70s Pirates the last 2 nights too.
See it trying to get out of the way with that one, or get out of the way of it, bending backwards.
Marte turns 29 in November. Had a pretty good year in Indianapolis, a .367 ERA, mostly as a reliever. Trying to get out of the inning, but Rodriguez, a rare miscue.
That should have ended the inning there. That looked like a double play ball off the bat.
Instead of the 5th error for Rodriguez. Maybe a bit of a screen there, or yeah, just didn't feel it right.
Yeah, got a heel of the glove. That's where you almost all the time you see a bobble like that and they slow it down. That ball hits the heel of the glove.
Now the base is loaded with 1 out. Hernan Perez.
You'll hear middle infielders all the time talking about that ball came up on me. And that's exactly what they're talking about. It comes up just a couple inches, a little higher. And that's the difference from getting it right there in the palm of that glove to getting up on the heel of it. And hits on that padding. Bounces out. A lot of middle infielders, they'll take, if not all, but most of that padding out of the heel of the glove. They don't want it there. I don't know if they still do that. Maybe that's an old school thing.
Maybe the gloves are made that way.
25, 30 years ago, they'd unlace that glove and they'd pull out a lot of the padding that covers up the heel of the hand.
So it could feel more like an extension of the hand, a little bit more feel to it.
So you wouldn't maybe if that ball hits the heel of the glove and there's no padding there, maybe it's got a better chance of sticking instead of that violent bounce out of there. Now, also, if you misplay a lot of balls and it hits that heel, it's gonna beat you up a little bit too.
Rodriguez been very sure-handed in the field all year. Jordy Mercer getting a day of rest.
Mercer, one of the best in the business.
I've enjoyed watching Mercer this year. Let's see if he gets a redo. That was a tougher play, and they'll get it out there. Brewers, they'll get a run as Elmore is in. One batted in for Perez.
That's kind of what I was talking about before. You make that diving play there, you get the backhand toss, so you can at least get one out. Exactly what happened.
So Rivera now at third. Perez with RBI 49. He's at first, and the big slugger Carter. Pirates trying to avoid being shut out for the third time in 5 days. Pirates were the last team in all of baseball to be shut out this season. There's a power outage in Pittsburgh. Talking about Clint Hurdle's philosophies today, talking with the skipper about, not trying to get up, two down over the ebbs and flows of the season. Hits this one well to center, and McCutcheon's going to run out of room. A big blast, a 3-run home run, and the Brewers putting a wallop on. It's 9-0. 32nd home run for Carter.
Yeah, this one pretty much over with.
Well, you look at two things here. The error costs 4 runs here, and that walk to Elmore costs 4 runs in the 6th inning.
Carter, so much bat speed. The ball just kept carrying and carrying, even though it was very high off the bat. You're wondering, did he hit it too high for it to carry far enough? And when it finally came down, it was up in the bushes.
416 feet on StatCast. Santana's already hit one today.
Looks like he's hit 2.
And he'll have another. It's 10-0. And all after what looked to be an inning-ending double play ball. Now Marte has unraveled here in the 9th. And the Brewers poised to not only sweep the Pirates here, but also shut them out 2 out of 3.
What a way to finish a sweep.
My goodness.
10-0.
And now the Pirates have to scramble to get the bullpen going.
I was talking right there in the first inning about your mindset going into this game was you can't do anything about what happened in those first 2 games. They're over with. That's done. And you can't really look forward yet. You still got a game in front of you. Well, you can say that same thing now. You can say it all over. It's all about these next 3 days with the Cardinals. Nothing you can do about this series.
Pirates are staring their longest losing streak of the season. This would be 6 in a row. But you're right, Bob, as Jared Hughes gets up. You got a chance with the Cardinals winning today. You'll be 3.5 back of St. Louis. You can make that a half game with a sweep at home. But the Pirates got to play a lot better and in a hurry. The one thing that the Pirates can hang their hat on here over this weekend set has been the starting pitching. That has been good. But the relief pitching It's not been the last couple of days, which is very rare. J-Show, some miscommunications. Marte did not go to the bag. And J-Show ends up getting the out. And 5 unearned runs in the ninth. A tough pill to swallow. 10-0 Milwaukee, doubling their lead. Chris Carter with a 3-run homer. Santana has hit 2 today. And the Pirates 3 outs away from being swept at home by Milwaukee. And a September call-up. Submariner Ben Rowan coming on.
Yeah, definitely gives you a different look. Coming from way underneath. Teak-like. Pretty good numbers in the minor leagues. 45 games, 58 innings, and an ERA in the low 2s.
And a brief amount of big league time prior, but this first game with the Brewers. Saw him 8 games with Texas in 2014. Called up last year with the Cubs, but didn't pitch. McCutchen then a pinch hitter, and Marte here in the Pirates' ninth. Kind of neat about Rowan, who is one of the true submarine pitchers. He said he grew up admiring Dan Quisenberry, the late Dan Quisenberry, the great Royals closer, who was a knuckle scraper in that fashion too, and Kent Colby, who we got a chance to meet today. Look at what number. And a big fan of the game of baseball. Also liked Chad Bradford as well, more recent submarine pitcher, but he's not just a sidearmer, but a guy that really drops down.
Yeah, he really does get down there quite a ways.
And McCutchen retired to start the Pirates' ninth inning. Here's some pictures of Teak. Look at where this arm comes from.
Nice little breaking ball there by the rubber band man. Oh, how about those Yankees?
Maybe those will be in a couple of years, right?
I hope not.
Yeah, they're wearing those ones today.
There we go. That's the look.
Now, if they can just get some photo grays. Those sunglasses would change color. There's Teak right now getting set for post game with Dan Potash. So neat to be able to work with him. And Ben Rowan getting a chance to meet him today. That was his main goal being here.
I remember in '80 when we were playing the Royals and the hitters were talking about Quisenberry, and one, I can't remember who the hitters were, was asking somebody else about, well, what's he like, what, you know, and he said just like Teak, except Quisenberry has no fastball. Teak had a good fastball. He could get it up there. Probably the hardest thrower I've seen that threw from down there. Laredo guys.
Yeah, I mean, usually Rowan's coming in the low 80s.
Yeah, that's more Quisenberry like.
Yeah. So Teak was harder than that. I can't imagine a guy throwing much harder than maybe low to maybe mid 80s.
I don't know.
What did Bradford throw? 84.
I mean, there were no numbers anywhere back then.
Yeah.
You could just, there was this eye test. You could just see, okay, this guy throws hard, or this guy throws somewhere in the middle, or this guy's a soft tosser.
Brad Ziegler, you might be able to put him kind of close in that boat, right? He's about 84. So for Teak to be able to throw that hard, no wonder he was so good.
Yeah, Teak had movement, good velocity, and he was a pirate. With that intimidation going.
Alan Hansen, the pinch hitter. He's the second out here in the ninth. And a bid for his second major league hit.
Well-timed jump there by Arcia.
Marte hitless in 3 trips today. 80 miles an hour. You got to think, you know, with a 7- and 8-man bullpens, that, you know, if he's able to get outs, which he has been at the minor league level, you know, just to have a different look, right? You know, not have all the same type of guy. Everybody throws 95, fastball slider guy, right?
Yeah, I agree. The key thing is you got to be able to get outs. And if you prove that, then there's a lot of managers that like a different look coming out of that bullpen, different things. You know, you can take that too. I've heard guys talk about the starting rotation in that vein, that they don't want 5 guys that all throw the same, but they would like a little differences. You know, maybe a soft toss and lefty to mix in between a couple of hard throwing right-handers, that sort of thing. So you do want a variety on your pitching staff, but that first thing you said about they got to get outs. You can't have variety for the sake of variety.
Rowan in his minor league career, 1.85 ERA. '27-year-old. Still got the rally cap on.
Just flipped it back over. I don't know what that means.
Well, the Pirates down to their last strike, down double digits, but that's the beauty of the game of baseball, right? There's no clock. Still focused.
That's the modern look right there. That's the modern ball player right there. Upside down sunglasses on the hat.
Flat bill to the cap.
A little bead around the neck. A little necklace going.
Trying to be like the guys he's watching on TV.
Absolutely. That is the look. There he is.
Got the hat on today that the guys are wearing.
Is that like a performance necklace? I don't know what you call those things.
Rope.
Yeah, that's what I call most of them.
2-2 to Marte. And full up. Sean Rodriguez doubled way back in the second. Marte trying to stay alive. That's the cap that was given away today to the youngsters. You see that there, or the ones that have stole it from the youngsters. Ninth pitch of this at bat upcoming. And Marte called out. The game ends. And for the second time in 3 days and for the third time in 5 days, Pirates are shut out. Their losing streak, a season high 6 behind the 2 home runs by Santana, big home run by Carter, and of course the pinch hit grand slam by Jonathan Villar today in Milwaukee sweeps the Pirates here. 10-0 the final this afternoon.
Yeah, this has really put the Pirates in a tough position here with the Cardinals coming in. Or, you were thinking that maybe 2 out of 3 would be just fine, but now it's almost like you need to win 3 in a row against the Cardinals. Still need to, obviously. It's it kind of comes down to math, but being swept by the Brewers in your home ballpark here, you've really started to dig yourself a hole. That's what's really has happened here.
And that makes the math a little fuzzier as we get down the stretch here for the final 4 weeks of the regular season. And to sum it all up for you, it's time now for our post-game show. Let's go out to Dan and Teague.
Well, gentlemen, what a difference a week makes. A 4-game series in Milwaukee. The Brewers